In this video, I'll be going over why you should avoid doing any form of raw content on YouTube, especially if you're trying to get high ticket clients from it. Now, for those of you who don't know what I mean here, raw content is basically a style of videos where you barely have any video editing, there's no thumbnail design associated with the video, and it's a straightforward title explaining what the video is all about. Now, to better help show what I mean, here are just a few examples of what this actually looks like in practice. Now, Charlie Morgan is probably one of the bigger examples of using raw form content to grow his channel and business presence. And as you can see, for the past few months, Charlie has been uploading a lot of these videos using thumbnails that are just screenshots of the video itself, something very similar to what is being shown right here, using very minimal video editing and a title that pretty much just explains exactly what the video is going to talk about. And Charlie is probably one of the founding pioneers of using raw form content, and that's why he's been pumping out so much content on his YouTube channel using this exact style. But Charlie is not the only big example of using raw content. William Brown is also a big user of using raw content and uploading it straight to his YouTube channel. And William always has his trademark coffee cup in his hand. I guess this is what his viewers like about him. Maybe, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that you can see that William's videos are performing pretty well for him using this raw content style. But other than those two examples, this style of content has also expanded into the coaching and agency space. A good example of this would be Andrew's channel here. And you can see that his entire channel is primarily raw content and pretty much covers his routine on scaling a dropshipping store from 0 to 100. And I guess just as a quick note, this is his second channel. There's barely any editing or proper thumbnail designs being used for any of the videos that he is uploading. And within the own agency space, we have channels like Max, who focuses on email marketing and has been uploading a lot of raw style content, something like this being shown right here. And in fact, Max's channel primarily blew up because of all the raw content that he was pretty much uploading. And if you were to go to the popular videos under Max's channel, you can see that a lot of videos that perform really well for him are pretty much raw style content. And another good example of an agency using raw content is also Sam's channel right here, where he covers Facebook ad related topics. And also in Sam's case, he's been uploading a bunch of videos that look raw but does have some video editing done to it, because I guess that is his style. Now, with that being said, it may seem from what I am currently showing is that raw content works really well on YouTube. And if you just base your judgment on these vanity metrics like the subscribers and view growth, raw content seems really like the play and it's working really well. But in actuality, it's not as effective as you might think it is, and that's why I put the quotation marks. So why is this the case? Well, one of the biggest reasons why this style isn't working as well as you might think it is because it's really only meant to hit beginners or startups looking to learn new information they haven't learned before. A lot of the viewers who are actually clicking on these videos are people who are really in the beginning stage and have no idea what they're doing. And they turn towards these videos because this form of content is meant to easily teach them and these beginners how to go from 0 to 100 really quickly. Like in the case of William's video, visually you can see the steps in the thumbnail on how to make $450,000 a month. And this easily captures any beginner's attention because all they want is a shortcut to getting rich. I mean, who wouldn't want to get rich? Now, to show you exactly what I mean, if we take a look at one of Sam's raw videos, this one more specifically right here, sure, on the surface it may seem very insightful, but if you go into the comment section, you'll notice that there's a lot of beginners and early stage Facebook ad specialists or freelancers thanking him and leaving comments asking Sam more specific questions or issues that they're dealing with. So for example, you can see comments being made about how this person started working with a current client, and this exact video gave him the actual insights and the results that he is looking for when it comes to helping his own clients. And this isn't a comment that a potential e-commerce owner would maybe be making on a YouTube video. As you can see, these are just beginners making comments about this. And I'm going to quickly scroll down on some of the other examples that I noticed. For example, this person right here is asking for Sam's recommendation on someone who is a beginner launching his first Meta ads campaign. And you can even see examples of people asking if Sam does offer any training where he can help these freelancers improve their own skills, and which Sam actually does. So Sam does actually recognize the fact that he is targeting a lot of these beginners and not a lot of other e-commerce owners that would be very interested in working with Sam more specifically. And with this example, I hope it shows how if you were to create raw form content, you're pretty much just hitting a lot of these beginners that would not be considered high ticket at all. Now, with raw content usually hitting beginners, as an agency or coach trying to land any high ticket clients from YouTube, that's not exactly desirable outcomes that you want. And this brings me to the next problem with raw content, which is it makes it really hard to close any high ticket clients because you're mostly attracting low ticket beginners with no cash to spend. Beginners are fine for views and subscriber growth. I already talked about that earlier, but they rarely have the money to invest in your service or offer. On the other hand, the high ticket clients you're trying to hit are already well off and they know what they're looking for, and they're not going to be wasting their time clicking on a raw surface level video that only covers the basics. They want content that speaks directly to them more specifically and answers all these specific challenges that they're dealing with. So what happens if you use raw content? Your channel pretty much gets stuck in the cycle of attracting people who can't buy, while the clients you actually want never ever see your content. So in other words, by posting raw content, you're unintentionally cutting yourself off from the exact audience you're trying to reach out to. And as I showed earlier, even though Sam's video may seem quite valuable, in actuality, this video most likely only reached out to a bunch of beginners and not a lot of high ticket clients that he could work with. But other than that, there is still one other factor to why raw videos do sometimes work, but might not work out for you. And it relates back to what I mentioned earlier about beginners wanting to go from 0 to 100 and making money really quickly. And this factor mostly relates to the psychological cues shown in the thumbnail and title. Now, this may not be very obvious to a normal viewer or someone who is, I guess, starting out on YouTube, but for someone like me who's been working in the YouTube space, there are a lot of wealth and luxurious indicators to get people clicking on these types of raw videos. For example, if we take a look at William Brown's video right here talking about making $8,000 a month from one business idea, there are quite a lot of visual cues that presents the imagery of wealth and status. For example, in the background, you can see a skyrise view that is often associated with being in the top 1% of the wealth class. You can also see a very luxurious furnished setting behind William, and the clean high-class look William is presenting that a lot of billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg often like to do when they're on stage presenting a new product. This combination of psychological cues makes any viewer come up with the conclusion that this video is about generating wealth and making very easy money. And for a beginner or a startup looking to find their ground and find their own footing, this is exactly what attracts their attention. Now, everything I said can also be applied to a lot of other creators that is using this raw format style, especially those who are focusing on the wealth generating niche. Now, to show you exactly what I mean, here's another example of where raw content can actually kill a channel's growth. This is Andrew's channel where he focuses on helping Shopify store owners boost their conversions. And by the way, Andrew, if you're watching this video, no hard feelings at all. Hopefully this breakdown maybe would help you out. No pressure at all. But anyways, if we take a look at this YouTube channel, the videos that he's uploading looks pretty similar to the raw examples I showed earlier. But when you actually break it down, they're too focused on just presenting that raw, unedited image and not showing the results Shopify owners actually care about. So for example, if you're talking about, let's say, conversions right here in this video, I want to see by how much that conversion has actually increased. And if you were to exactly show these conversions, let's say, going from 10% to maybe 50% conversion rates, this is what would make me trust the content a lot more, assuming if I was a Shopify store owner myself. And on top of that, the visual presentation doesn't do Andrew a lot of favor as well. So sitting in front of the screen just with a headset on might feel authentic, but to a Shopify store owner, it looks really unprofessional and too beginner friendly. A lot of these high ticket clients in this space want proof, authority, and professionalism. So even if the advice and information shared in this video is really great, the raw look instantly is a turnoff and it just develops no trust at all. And those potential high ticket clients will just click away without even giving the content a chance. And in addition to this, a lot of Shopify store owners don't put wealth as the first image they want. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, who wouldn't want a lot more money being made for themselves, right? But what I'm trying to say is that their priorities aren't like a beginner who wants to generate more wealth. The priority that these Shopify store owners have is to scale their e-commerce brand quickly and a lot more consistently. And presenting any of these imageries or visual cues that I mentioned earlier would not work out really well for them. And these are just some of the reasons why raw content like shown in Andrew's channel here may not work in a lot of other niches. With this raw style, I would only suggest it to coaches who are operating within the wealth generation niche. It may work if you are a coach trying to get a lot of beginners signing up for your offer or coaching program, something very similar to what Andrew Yu is doing with his second YouTube channel. But if you're trying to attract the higher ticket clients and close them from YouTube, using raw content may not be a really good idea for you. But with that being said, you might be wondering, what kind of content should you actually upload instead? Well, the short answer is case studies. Every video that you create should always talk about some sort of case study that you worked on, whether that be talking about your exact process, how much results you've driven for a specific client, or even hopping on a very nice client interview with them. This is the best type of video style you should be doing if you want to convert any high-ticket clients from your YouTube channel. But since this video is already quite long, I'm not going to talk too heavily about that. But if you do want to learn more, you should definitely check out my most recent video about properly inputting case studies into your video structure. And with that being said, this is everything you have to know when it comes to filming raw content and why you should pretty much stick away from it. So you should definitely keep this in mind when creating your next YouTube video, because I know you'll go kill it on YouTube.